And that's how you can gain a huge advantage without having to learn these really complex movements. Welcome back to another video. This time we're looking at how to get a real advantage from our serve by limiting the information that we give to our opponents. So here's a couple of really simple tips that can make all the difference. Now, it's really common to always show and declare what we're doing, especially when we're facing forwards. But even sometimes when we're turning on the side, we can also end up showing and declaring and giving information away to our opponents. So here's how to try and limit that as much as possible. So there's certainly nothing wrong with standing straight on. There are some really useful techniques from that position, and you should carry on using them if they are part of your game. However, when we turn to the side, there's a real opportunity to hinder your opponent's view. Now, of course, I don't mean from the ball. We all know that the ball has to be visible on the point of contact to our opponent. But we can hide this. It's really common for us to keep this bat out in front of us where it's plain and obvious to see, and our opponent gets a real indication of maybe what we're doing, the angle that we're coming through, whether we're serving with backspin, maybe that we're going to be coming around the side of the ball. They get to see all this information whilst they're seeing this bat. And one of the big ones is on a long serve where maybe we're even coming over the top of the ball. They're going to get a really big signal really early, and they can start to prepare for that follow-up ball. So concealing the bat by using your body is a really effective way of limiting the information that your opponent can see. So can you conceal your bat as you're throwing the ball up to make your opponent's life trickier? So step one is just practicing the ball toss and just having a look as to where your bat is going. Also useful to maybe even film, put your phone up, film the footage, watch it back. Can you see that this is happening? And once we've started to get that and that feels comfortable and we understand where we're trying to get the bat to, then we're trying to bring the movement forward as late as we possibly can. So we don't want to be in this hidden position and then bring it out too early because your opponent's going to see everything again. We want to be able to leave it in this position as long as we possibly can so that when it's revealed and we're showing the point of contact to our opponent, they've only got that split second to be able to make a decision on what's coming. So whether it's backspin here, side spin here, even a long one. So we can make all these subtle little changes right next to the body at the last possible split second. So here's a few of mine. Check them out, see if you can tell what's coming. We all have a limited time to be able to process information. So the more we can constrain that for our opponents, the more chance we've got of them making a mistake, maybe making a direct error, popping the ball up a little bit higher to us. Maybe even they start to step back and give us a little bit more time to play. All of which is a potential advantage to us. There are different ways to support the channel and the growth of it. And your help is greatly appreciated. From liking and commenting and subscribing, which helps push the algorithm. It lets YouTube know that people are watching it, and it will push it out to more and more people. That's a fairly easy thing to do. It doesn't cost you anything either. So if you could do that to support me, that would make a huge difference. If you're enjoying the free content and finding the free tips useful, and you are able to support what I'm doing, then you can always buy me a coffee. It's a small financial contribution that goes towards hall hire, my time, the equipment that I use. And it's not essential, and I understand that not everyone can do that. But if you want to and you're able to do that, that is massively appreciated as well. And of course, if you purchase anything from my sponsors and partners, which are listed in the description, if you buy through the links that I use, then that's also a great way of supporting me and the channel. There's something else we can do to limit our opponent's response time. And this is not instead of, but we can also add this to it as well. And that is the high toss. We are taught, and it's also ingrained into us, to watch the ball. We follow the ball wherever it tends to go. And when we're down, ready to return, and someone does a high toss serve, 9 times out of 10, our eyes follow the ball. And if there's a big enough separation between the ball toss and where the bat is, then we tend to look up higher. And that takes our attention away from the bat, where the information is that we need to be able to return in a decent way. So the more we can throw the ball up, the higher we can get that, the more potential opportunity there is for us. And as the ball starts to fall, that's when they've got that split second to try and decide what's happened and how they're going to respond to it. Now, if you've not done this before, it's really common that this might happen. The ball's going to end up in different ways. Maybe it's moving away from us. Maybe it's moving even backwards. We're not going to have full control in the ball toss. So we need to practice that skill. So can we focus on keeping that ball toss nice and straight? We can even put a marker on the floor so that when we're throwing the ball up, that we're aiming for the ball to land in a certain position, and then we're building up our consistency of the ball toss, and that's going to help us perfect these different service skills as well. So here's a few high toss serves. Now, most of those were declared. The high toss was there, but my bat was out. It was on view. So you might have had an indication of what I was trying to do. But we can also join those two things together. We can have the high toss, but we can also pull the bat back behind our body as well. And then we're working with two things that are going to really limit and inhibit our opponents. So let's see if we can put both together. Now, there's not a lot to learn here. We don't have to learn how to bring the bat back. That's something that we should be able to do. In doing that, it makes the skill a little bit more difficult. So where we were in front of our body here, and we have an opportunity to execute what we would normally do, now we're limiting our time to be able to do that. So by using these things, it challenges our control and takes time away from us. So it inhibits the skill a little bit more. But to add these things in is fairly simple, not easy, but simple, and certainly much easier to implement than learning brand new, tricky, complicated, deceptive serves, which of course we all want to do anyway. We'll do that afterwards. But this is perhaps a quicker win. Okay, so give one of them a try, give both of them a try, and if you can, see if you can join them together. Thank you, as ever, for watching. I hope you have a great Christmas and festive period, and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2025. Now, it's really common to always declare and off. So can you conceal your bat? So can you conceal your bat? And that is